Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Colney Talk Podcast, your bite-sized breakdown show. I'm your host Alex. First-time listeners, glad to have you here. And to my returning guests, thanks for sticking with me. As always, I talk a bit about the Arsenal match and pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who shined and one odd player not good enough I get to call out. The 2-2 draw at the Etihad was as intense as it gets. It's one of those games where you're leaving feeling immensely proud, but then gutted that we'd let victory slip through our fingers at the dead minutes. But that's football, right? I mean, it hurts. This one stings, especially coming into this game to prove a point to this team on their ground. City came out with the intensity as we expected, pressing high and controlling possession early on. They took the lead with an early goal, which felt like a hammer blow so early in the game. City's control was stifling with their passes like we know they normally do, keeping us on the back foot. And that's to be expected. You could see how they wanted to set the tempo, trying to overwhelm us before we could settle or grow into the game, and probably when they would even allow it. Crazy to think that. But credit to Arsenal. We didn't panic. Slowly but surely we found our feet. And what a moment of brilliance. It was from our new signing, Calafiori. He's already shown his defensive qualities. We know that, we've seen it. But this goal, oh golly, what a strike. A peach of a goal from outside the box. Absolutely no chance for Edison. That's the kind of impact you love to see from a defender. Not just the grit, but the ability to change the game in moments like this and show the offensive influence that you're looking to produce in this game. And he was that standout early in the game, and I just loved it from him. From then on, it was Arsenal returning to our defensive discipline. We sat back, absorbed City's pressure, and played with a clever tactical game. Big Gabby, the tank, was a rock in defense, not giving Haaland or the rest of City's front line an inch of space after that first goal of the game, because it opened things up. The way we were intercepting second balls, pressing when necessary, and hustling for every loose ball, it was brilliant to watch. It was what was expected for Arsenal in this game. It's how we had to close down any chance and break our structure defensively. That's what we knew we were up for. The game then flipped on its head with that bizarre decision from the referee. A questionable second yellow for time wasting. Seriously, again? We're talking about this. It left us down to 10 men before the end of the half. That's just insane. I mean, I was feeling so many anger and frustration. Absolutely criminal decision from the referee, ruining what otherwise was a well-balanced, tense first half. I couldn't believe it, and I'm sure many of you felt the same frustration. You know, when we talk about these second yellows or harsh decisions, there's a lot of discretion, and a lot of it has to rest heavily on ruining the intensity of the game, the integrity, like from a place where it's balanced. And it wasn't already. We knew we're going to deal with a whole lot of one-sided game after the decision was made and everything else that came with it. And it was even crazier not to think that we didn't even have time to process this, because the second half was just waiting for us to get back in, and we had to make adjustments. And that was the situation. So we started the second half down a man, and that's where the game became more about survival than playing City off the park. Arteta shifted us into a defensive 5-4, not even a 5-3-1, bringing on Ben White for Saka, who was injured, by the way, but had to come in to shore things up defensively. It was all about sitting back, closing down spaces, and nothing more. It didn't seem like there was intent to counterattack or use our pace to get to do something. And let me tell you, as we kept on staying defensively in that situation to deal with what was coming in front of us, Raya was absolutely incredible. He was just another hero again. Save after save, his reflexes were world class. Whether it was close range shots or a couple of headers, Raya stood firm, keeping the ball away. It felt like every time City pressed, Raya had an answer. His performance alone deserved 3 points. For real. And yes, I said it. Arsenal showed immense character defending for nearly 50 minutes with 10 men. City, as you expect, threw everything at us. But Big Gabby and Saliba held the line. Gabby's header earlier in the game to put us 2-1 was so crucial, but his defensive work was equally immense. And Calafiori, his debut goal aside, his defensive contribution was solid. Unfortunately, he couldn't carry on, and injuries took him out from the game. And Kivior came on to hold the fourth and manage the rest of the minutes that we had. City's pressure was relentless, and I think that was the standard going to this game, but it was even more with 10 men and dealing with this situation, because the emotions in this ground, and we had the lead, was a lot to deal with. The XG City, that is, was soaring, and they bombarded us with shots after shots. But what struck me most was Arsenal's determination. We were defending with everything, with grit and sheer willpower. I think we had that confidence that we were going to hold this lead and shut it down. It felt like every tackle, every block was goal-saving moments, and Raya did do that. The heat map would show City's dominance in possession, and that's so obvious, especially around the box. But the critical takeaway is how well we kept our shape, and we gave them nothing. It wasn't until the 90th minute that the disaster struck, a last-minute equalizer that felt like a dagger through the heart. At least my heart, it felt that way. We had worked up so hard, done all the right things, and to concede in the stoppage time, absolutely devastating. I'm not blaming anyone in particular. We were simply stretched too thin by the end. I mean, we did all we could, and that's just to be expected and be proud of. Offensively, though, we were playing a different type of game as the team continued to adjust without Odegaard. Rice and Havertz, to me, stepped up to pull our attack in a good way and keep things in different motion. I saw that transitional play from Arsenal mainly flow through Martinelli, who wasn't bad at all. His pace and that threat showed itself, and that was good to see. Man City's defenders swarmed him, but he managed to drag Kyle Walker into City's final third a couple of times, building our attacking momentum in the first half. It was disappointing, but this was a game where the game slipped from us due to bad luck. And that bad luck was the idiotic ref. Simply put, that was just all that happened from the situation that he put us in. Okay, let me dive into my top 3 performers from this match. First player, David Raya. Man of the match. Let me say that again. Man of the match. This guy was a wall. From close range saves to denying long shots, he was pivotal in keeping City at bay. His ability to recognize the defense, sweeping all crosses in the box, making a couple or more crucial saves, and exude confidence was world class. He's undeniably a world class keeper, and I'm glad he's representing Arsenal. If not for him, we couldn't have even had a chance to hold on to that 2 lead for as long as we did. So just remember that. Second player, Big Gabby. What more can I say about the tank? His goal was pure determination, an Arsenal set-piece special menu header, and that put us ahead, and it was so amazing. But more importantly, his defensive display was monstrous. Haaland, in his usual self, breaking away and doing different things like he has done, he was held down because Big Gabby and Saliba, their physicality and the reading of the game was on point, and a colossal performance from our Brazilian defender. Third and final player, Calafiori. What a starting debut for this young man. I mean, not just his thunderbolt goal, but for his defensive discipline that we've seen him display in half a game, 45 minutes, but he did this a bit longer. He played well in a massive game in front of this, intimidating crowd, and showed a lot of confidence. His injury was a shame, but his contribution while on the pitch was immense. I mean, big applause to him. Now, there's no odd player, and that's simply because the early red card altered the nature of the game, altered our game plan, the way we were trying to, influence the game for ourselves and get real comfortable and keep this lead, So there's no one that really gave a chance to have a poor performance, so to speak. It was just all, defensive play, so nothing coming from that. Well, I think it's fair to say we walked away from this game with mixed emotions. I did, with a lot of bitterness that was outside the elements of what we were going to do. On the one hand, immense pride in how the team defended with 10 men, put their lives on line in retaining this lead, especially after going down 10 men this long. On the other hand, the heartbreak of losing a lead so late. We showed resilience in this ground. I don't think we came to draw. We knew we had something to prove, and we were close to proving that. We definitely had the victory pulled away from us, and there were so many things that changed that. That was just very unfortunate. So there you have it. We came to that ground with a lot of intent on correcting the thought of going there and just taking a draw. We came there to win, and we almost did it. But I don't want to talk about almost, because it doesn't mean anything. But we know there's a lot that we're going to look back on, and hopefully this builds to more victory in the end. Sure, the referee's decision threw a spanner in the works, but I don't want to dwell on that too much. What I want to focus on is the team spirit. Arteta has built a side that can suffer, defend as a unit, and play against Europe's best without even blinking. We're showing that. We've shown that now. And when things go wrong, we can adapt and fight. So there is a lot to look forward to when we meet them again. Moving forward, I hope we can address these issues where we're not at the mercy of these boneheaded refs making a decision right or wrong, or, I don't know, leaving it to chance. That's not something we need to deal with going forward. For now, though, we'll take this point. This, for me, is a valuable lesson of what we've learned from this encounter with these refs early in the season. Hoping we can get some early injuries returns back to just get our squad whole again, because we're stretched too thin, and some of these players definitely would have made this almost win, a beautiful victory. But we look forward and we move on. All right, folks, that's all for this episode. Thank you for listening. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's game. Feel free to reach out to me on X and wherever you listen to this podcast. Until next time, take care, keep up the faith.